Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. She threw shafts of sarcasm. The hollow spine of a feather. A revolving rod that transmits power or motion. A column of light, as from a beacon. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. The main, mid-section of a long bone. Architecture. Upright consisting of the vertical part of a column. Obscene terms for penis. A long pointed rod used as a tool or weapon. A line that forms the length of an arrow pointer. A long rod or pole, especially the handle of an implement or the body of a weapon like a spear or arrow. A long vertical passage sunk into the earth, as for a mine or tunnel. A vertical passageway through a building, as for an elevator. Equip with a shaft. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. A subsidiary point facing opposite from the main point that makes an arrowhead or spear hard to remove. One of the parallel filaments projecting from the main shaft of a feather. Provide with barbs. Barbed wire. The pointed part of barbed wire. Turn up, loosen, or remove earth. Remove, harvest, or recover by digging. Dig salt. The site of an archaeological exploration. They set up camp next to the dig. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. She takes a dig at me every chance she gets. The act of touching someone suddenly with your finger or elbow. She gave me a sharp dig in the ribs. Remove the inner part or the core of. The act of digging. Create by digging. Dig a hole. Get the meaning of something. Poke or thrust abruptly. Work hard. She was digging away at her math homework. A small gouge, as in the cover of a book. The book was in good condition except for a dig in the back cover. Thrust down or into. Dig the oars into the water. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Laugh at with contempt and derision. Be compatible, similar or consistent. Coincide in their characteristics. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Shift from one side of the ship to the other. Be compatible, similar or consistent. Coincide in their characteristics. An estimate based on little or no information. A solid missile discharged from a firearm. The shot buzzed past his ear. A person who shoots, usually with respect to their ability to shoot. He is a crack shot. An informal photograph, usually made with a small handheld camera. My snapshots haven't been developed yet. Varying in color when seen in different lights or from different angles. Chatoyant, or shot, silk. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. His parting shot was, drop dead. A chance to do something. He wanted a shot at the champion. The launching of a missile or spacecraft to a specified destination. A consecutive series of pictures that constitutes a unit of action in a film. Sports. The act of swinging or striking at a ball with a club or racket or bat or cue or hand. A good shot requires good balance and tempo. The act of firing a projectile. Informal words for any attempt or effort. He gave it his best shot. The act of putting a liquid into the body by means of a syringe. The nurse gave him a flu shot. A small drink of liquor. He poured a shot of whiskey. A blow hard enough to cause injury. He is still recovering from a shot to his leg. An attempt to score in a game. An explosive charge used in blasting. Sports equipment consisting of a heavy metal ball used in the shot put. He trained at putting the shot. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Throw violently. He slammed the book on the table. Close violently. He slammed the door shut. Winning all or all but one of the tricks in bridge. Dance the slam dance. Strike violently. Slam the ball. A forceful impact that makes a loud noise. The noise made by the forceful impact of two objects. The hollow spine of a feather. Perennial marsh plant having sword-like leaves and aromatic roots. A genus of Spiridae. Any tropical Asian palm of the genus Calamus. Light tough stems are a source of rattan canes. The aromatic root of the sweet flag used medicinally. The hollow spine of a feather. Pen made from a bird's feather. Any of the larger wing or tail feathers of a bird. A stiff hollow protective spine on a porcupine or hedgehog. A revolving rod that transmits power or motion. A group of nearly parallel lines of electromagnetic radiation. Emit light. Be bright, as of the sun or a light. The fire beamed on their faces. A column of light, as from a beacon. A signal transmitted along a narrow path. Guides airplane pilots in darkness or bad weather. Experience a feeling of well-being or happiness, as from good health or an intense emotion. She was beaming with joy. Broadcast over the airwaves, as in radio or television. Have a complexion with a strong bright color, such as red or pink. A gymnastic apparatus used by women gymnasts. Express with a beaming face or smile. He beamed his approval. Long thick piece of wood or metal or concrete, etc., used in construction. Nautical, breadth amidships. Smile radiantly. Express joy through one's facial expression. The broad side of a ship. They sighted land on the port beam. A column of light, as from a beacon. A column of light, as from a beacon. Medicine, the treatment of disease, especially cancer, by exposure to a radioactive substance. Pavlovian conditioning, the elicitation of a conditioned response by stimulation similar but not identical to the original stimulus. Physiology, the spread of sensory neural impulses in the cortex. The apparent enlargement of a bright object when viewed against a dark background. The condition of being exposed to radiation. A column of light, as from a beacon. A group of nearly parallel lines of electromagnetic radiation. A column of light, as from a beacon. Extend or spread outward from a center or focus or inward towards a center. Exposed to radiation. The syllable naming the second, supertonic, note of any major scale in solmization. A branch of an umbel or an umbelliform inflorescence. Any of the stiff bony spines in the fin of a fish. Cartilaginous fishes having horizontally flattened bodies and enlarged wing-like pectoral fins with gills on the underside. Most swim by moving the pectoral fins. Emit as rays. That tower rays a laser beam for miles across the sky. Mathematics. A straight line extending from a point. A column of light, as from a beacon. A column of light, as from a beacon. Weedy annual native to Europe but widely distributed as a weed especially in wheat. Engage in deceitful behavior. Practice trickery or fraud. Weedy annual grass often occurs in grain fields and other cultivated land. Seeds sometimes considered poisonous. Deprive somebody of something by deceit. We were cheated by their clever sounding scheme. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. Someone who leads you to believe something that is not true. Be sexually unfaithful to one's partner in marriage. She cheats on her husband. The act of swindling by some fraudulent scheme. A deception for profit to yourself. Raise trivial objections. The use of tricks to deceive someone, usually to extract money from them. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. A bridge hand that is void of trumps. A movable barrier used in motor racing. Sometimes placed before a dangerous corner to reduce speed as cars pass in single file. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. An operator of some vehicle or machine or apparatus. He's a truck jockey. Compete, for an advantage or a position. Ride a racehorse as a professional jockey. Someone employed to ride horses in horse races. Someone who guards prisoners. A propeller with several angled blades that rotates to push against water or air. Cause to penetrate, as with a circular motion. Drive in screws or bolts. Have sexual intercourse with. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. Slang for sexual intercourse. A fastener with a tapered threaded shank and a slotted head. A simple machine of the inclined plane type consisting of a spirally threaded cylindrical rod that engages with a similarly threaded hole. Tighten or fasten by means of screwing motions. Turn like a screw. The main, mid-section of a long bone. Erect leafless flower stalk growing directly from the ground as in a tulip. Architecture. Upright consisting of the vertical part of a column. Faucet consisting of a rotating device for regulating flow of a liquid. The part of a gun lock that strikes the percussion cap when the trigger is pulled. Adult male chicken. To walk with a lofty, proud gait, often in an attempt to impress others. Obscene terms for penis. Adult male bird. Set the trigger of a firearm back for firing. Tilt or slant to one side. Cock one's head. Someone who is a detective. Obscene terms for penis. Bird with strong claws and a stiff tail adapted for climbing and a hard chisel-like bill for boring into wood for insects. Horny projecting mouth of a bird. Obscene terms for penis. Insulting terms of address for people who are stupid or irritating or ridiculous. Stab or urge on as if with a pointed stick. A depression scratched or carved into a surface. The act of puncturing with a small point. He gave the balloon a small prick. Raise. The dog pricked up his ears. Make a small hole into, as with a needle or a thorn. The nurse pricked my finger to get a small blood sample. Cause a prickling sensation. Deliver a sting to. Cause a stinging pain. The needle pricked his skin. Obscene terms for penis. To cause a sharp emotional pain. The thought of her unhappiness pricked his conscience. Obscene terms for penis. Yiddish, a fool, an idiot. Ride in a car with no particular goal and just for the pleasure of it. We tooled down the street. The means whereby some act is accomplished. Science has given us new tools to fight disease. A person who is controlled by others and is used to perform unpleasant or dishonest tasks for someone else. Obscene terms for penis. An implement used in the practice of a vocation. Drive. The convertible tooled down the street. Furnish with tools. Work with a tool. A surgical knife with a pointed double-edged blade, used for punctures and small incisions. An implement with a shaft and barbed point used for catching fish. A long pointed rod used as a tool or weapon. Move quickly, as if by cutting one's way. Planes lanced towards the shore. Open by piercing with a lancet. Lance a boil. Pierce with a lance, as in a knight's fight.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.